Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday morning, June the 17th. A lot to talk about this morning. Scorching heat is coming to the northeastern part of the nation, really beginning later this weekend and continuing at least until the middle part of next week. This surge in temperatures will bring about the possibility of 100-degree high temperatures all along the I-95 corridor from D.C. to Boston in that early to middle part of next week. And we have some severe weather possibilities to talk about in the near term here, and we'll start off the discussion this morning with a look at the Storm Prediction Center probability outlook for severe weather later today and tonight, and then we'll take a look ahead to tomorrow and Thursday as well, because I think there will be some severe weather even into the eastern states on Wednesday and Thursday. First of all, for today, we've talked about this kind of a clash zone out in the middle part of the nation, quite a high risk of strong to severe thunderstorms right smack dab in the middle of the nation here in the heartland here, the Central Plains. And there also is a little section here of a slight risk of some strong to severe thunderstorm activity in the Mid-Atlantic region, primarily the western part of the Mid-Atlantic region and primarily to the south of the Mason-Dixon line. I do agree with this. I think the atmosphere is unstable enough. There can be some strong to severe thunderstorm activity later today and tonight, let's say from Washington, D.C. and points to the west. Certainly any rain that falls later today into tonight in this same area can be heavy at times, and that will fall on top of heavy rainfall over the last several days. In other words, flash flood watches in effect for much of that area from Washington, D.C. off to the west. But the biggest threat today for severe weather right across the middle of the nation. Now, let's jump ahead to the midweek here. This is the forecast on Wednesday. You see it's moved slightly to the east here with the enhanced risk over the Ohio Valley on Wednesday and Wednesday night here. And again, a chance of a strong to severe thunderstorm right in the Mid-Atlantic region. This time that extends all the way to the eastern seaboard. This is associated with an incoming and slow-moving strong cold frontal system that will be situated out over the Ohio Valley on Wednesday. Then we get into the day on Thursday. That front slides towards the eastern seaboard. Again, the chance of strong to severe thunderstorms really all along the I-95 corridor region from Richmond to D.C. all the way up to Boston, or maybe just to the west of Boston. This is, again, later Thursday into Thursday night. So certainly still have to deal with strong to severe thunderstorm threats, especially today out across the Central Plains, but then tomorrow, Ohio Valley, and Thursday, situated in the eastern part of the U.S. And again, each of the next couple of afternoons here, there can be some strong to severe thunderstorms in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. Well, let's now shift our attention a little bit away from the severe storm threat to the upcoming heat wave. A scorching heat is coming to the northeastern part of the nation, again, really centered on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston. It certainly will be quite a change from the cooler than normal conditions we've had in the Mid-Atlantic region, much of the northeast U.S. over the past several days. Again, we talked about this in yesterday's video discussion. Sunday's Father's Day, one of the coolest Father's Day, again, relative to normal that I can remember here. Temperatures were some 15 to 20 degrees below normal in that I-95 corridor region. Here we are beginning the day here on Tuesday. Some high-pressure ridging situated along the eastern seaboard and along the west coast. We'll move forward here and really point out a big change coming with respect to that strong ridge that's been pretty much parked out over the western U.S. over the last several days. Here we are into the day on Thursday. We have this strong cold front that will be sliding into the Ohio Valley and then into the eastern part of the nation by Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. Can be some strong to severe thunderstorms associated with that, but these are the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast maps from last night's 0Z run of the GFS, and this is the main feature I want to point out here. By the time we get to Saturday, we have strong high pressure ridging Instead of being parked out over the western U.S., it's coming east, and this is one of the main culprits of this upcoming heat wave that will focus in on the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast U.S. later this week and into the middle part of next week. Here we go all the way out to Sunday, and finally on Monday. Just take a look at the abnormality here, the height anomalies here at 500 millibars. Very strong upper level ridge centered right overhead of the Mid-Atlantic region, and a very strong ridge influencing all the way from southeastern Canada throughout New England down across the Mid-Atlantic region. Meanwhile, out in the west, we have low pressure aloft here, causing some cooling conditions out across the western states where they've been very hot in recent days. But this is a very impressive ridge of high pressure here as we begin the summer. First full day of summer is on Saturday the 21st, and this is bringing very summer-like conditions here to the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast U.S., all the way from Sunday into the middle part of next week. Now let's see how that ridge translates to the temperature pattern here. We're looking at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies here, beginning with this morning, Tuesday morning here, and we'll move forward here. Again, we have this class zone area right in the middle part of the nation. Backtrack a little bit here by later on tonight, but we have this colder than normal air late today into tonight, pushing across the Rocky Mountain states into the middle of the nation, and that sets up that class zone right here. We've talked about, as long as we have these colder than normal air masses coming into the U.S. this time of the year, we can continue to have severe weather outbreaks, and indeed this is the area of concern for later today into tonight. Let's move forward here in time into the day on Wednesday, and then here we go Wednesday night into the day on Thursday. And again, we have kind of a class zone setting up here, colder than normal conditions on the backside of a frontal system, and very warm and humid air pushing all the way up through New England by the time we get to later Wednesday night, Thursday night. That could set up some severe weather in the eastern third of the nation. We'll go out a little bit farther in time, and here we go. By Thursday evening, that front closing in on the eastern seaboard could be accompanied by strong to severe thunderstorms. Then, looking out west, you notice above normal temperatures here starting to set up by the end of this week here across the central and northern plains. That is the area that will push slowly to the east as that ridge builds up into the Mid-Atlantic, the Great Lakes, the Northeast U.S. Here we are all the way out to next Monday, and remember, aloft 500 millibars, we have this high pressure ridge sitting right on top of this region. This will produce a 100-degree possibility for high temperatures all along that stretch along I-95 from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City all the way to Boston. 100 degrees on the table early to middle part of next week. Now let's clear the page here. Notice out in the west still some colder than normal air. That's associated with that upper level trough that sets up out across the western states. At the same time, scorching heat moves up to the northeastern quadrant of the nation. We'll go out a little bit farther in time into Tuesday, 1 week from today, and then finally into Wednesday of next week. A continuation here of scorching heat in the northeastern part of the nation. Again, the Great Lakes, New England, the Mid-Atlantic region. Certainly 95 to 100 degree afternoon high temperatures in this stretch in much of this area. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, even into Wednesday of next week. Meanwhile, by the middle of next week, it remains below normal temperature-wise out across the Rocky Mountain states. Now, let's take a look at the vorticity field. This is areas of instability in the atmosphere, generally associated with upper-level jet streaks. Those are kind of embedded areas of higher winds relative to surrounding areas in the overall jet stream. These upper-level jet streaks enhance the upward motion, which in turn enhances the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms this time of the year. Here we are beginning the day on Tuesday. Notice, first of all, an area out in the middle of the nation. And again, this is the area of concern for later today into tonight. Also, a little bit of a short wave right here across the Ohio Valley. And again, all of this is producing unstable atmospheric conditions, so there can be severe weather, not only out across the middle of the nation, but anywhere in the eastern third of the nation over the next few days here. Multiple short waves to deal with. Those are those areas of vorticity in the upper part of the atmosphere. Again, this is using the 0Z run of the GFS. Here we go into the evening hours on Tuesday. Again, a little bit of instability, a little bit of a short wave right in the western part of the Mid-Atlantic region. Watch out for strong to severe thunderstorms later today and tonight. Certainly possibility of downpours, places like Washington, D.C. and areas to the west. But here's the kind of an enhanced threat of severe weather out across right smack dab in the middle of the nation. Kansas, Nebraska, for example. Watch out for severe thunderstorms later today and tonight. Then we move into the midweek. This is on Wednesday. Again, short wave here can impact the Mid-Atlantic region. I do believe there's a chance for strong to severe thunderstorms later tomorrow night in much of the Mid-Atlantic region. That's out ahead of that Thursday cold frontal system. Here is, in fact, the area of concern also for severe weather associated with that strong cold front. That slides from the Ohio Valley into the eastern states by the time we get to late Thursday night. So again, an area of possible strong to severe thunderstorms, this time on Thursday afternoon and evening near the eastern seaboard, all along the I-95 corridor region. Then we'll move forward here in time into the upcoming weekend, and this is the 500 millibar flow along with the vorticity fields aloft by the time we get to Sunday. And notice here, you can see that the sign of a strong upper level ridge, again, building into the eastern part of the nation. At the same time, a deep upper level trough sets up over the Rocky Mountain states. Go out a little bit farther in time, and that ridge is just enhanced by the time we get to Monday and finally into next Tuesday. This is a week from today. Very strong, intense upper level ridge sitting right on top of the Mid-Atlantic, and that will produce unbearable heat and humidity. Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S. Again, all of the big cities along the I-95 corridor region can reach 100 degrees. Meanwhile, cooler than normal conditions out across the western U.S. associated with that upper level trough. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from 0Z run of the GFS. All these are maps from tropicaltidbits.com. Again, that severe weather threat later today and tonight, especially Kansas, Nebraska, the middle part of the nation, but across the eastern third of the nation, also scattered showers and thunderstorms. Any of the rain that falls later today and tonight, D.C. west, southwestern PA, West Virginia can be heavy at times. Even a strong to severe thunderstorm. In a perfect setup later today out in the middle of the nation with that warm, humid air pumped up from the south central states, the western Gulf. At the same time, you have colder than normal air pushing to the south and east across the Rocky Mountain states. Here is your clash zone. This could also include some possibility of tornadoes later today into tonight. Then we go into the day on Wednesday, the middle of the week. Much of this activity slides to the east on Wednesday, and that severe weather threat will set up right here across the Mississippi Valley region, even into the Ohio Valley. There will be that strong cold front starting to really show its ugly head here with that threat of severe weather again later tomorrow night in the Ohio Valley, the Mississippi Valley, and don't discount the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms later tomorrow night in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region as well. Now, let's move into the day on Thursday. This cold frontal system slides right towards the eastern seaboard by Thursday. This is the area of concern later Thursday night for possible strong to severe thunderstorms. That cold front moves off the eastern seaboard. It certainly does not get cool behind it. Maybe temperatures drop a tad on Friday in the Mid-Atlantic region. And then we see the isobar pattern here, the lines of equal pressure by the time we get to Friday night. And this is just sending some very, very hot and humid air all the way up into the northern plains, the western Great Lakes, from way down here across Mexico, the southwestern states. This is very hot weather now out across the middle of the nation. We go into the upcoming weekend. It's very warm on Saturday in the Mid-Atlantic region. Then by the time we get to Sunday right here, the scorching heat really gets underway. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City could certainly see temperatures go well up into the 90s on Sunday afternoon. And then they'll make a run to 100 degrees, I believe, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all along that I-95 corridor region. Richmond, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, all can see 100 degrees in this early to middle part of next week. This is all the way out to Monday. And then into Tuesday of next week, 1 week from today, still very, very hot, humid conditions in that part of the nation. Meanwhile, the West is kind of cooling down with that upper level trough. Now, let's move a little bit farther out into next week, and we'll notice here by the time we get to the middle of next week, maybe Tuesday night, Wednesday time frame, there will be some thunderstorms starting to form underneath that high pressure ridge. When a ridge kind of sits there and parks itself, eventually becomes unstable enough. Certainly the daytime heating will be there to destabilize the atmosphere, that once it sits and parks for a while, you can develop thunderstorms, and some of these can certainly be strong to severe with 95 to 100 degree highs. We're talking late Tuesday night, but probably more likely by the time we get to Wednesday night. Watch out for some strong thunderstorms underneath that strong high pressure ridge. Then we get into the day on Thursday, and by this time, attention may turn to a tropical system headed towards the eastern part of Mexico. So a lot going on here. We have some severe weather possibilities over the next few days. Today, primarily focused out over the nation's heartland, Kansas, Nebraska, for an example, but still can be some strong to severe thunderstorms in the Ohio Valley, even the portions of the Mid-Atlantic region. That threat for severe weather shifts slightly east on Wednesday into the Mississippi Valley, the Ohio Valley, and again, the Mid-Atlantic region. And finally, that cold front moves to the eastern states by Thursday, again with this threat for strong to severe thunderstorms up and down the I-95 corridor region later Thursday night. And then the heat wave, one of the worst heat waves in quite a while on the table here for the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast U.S. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, 100 degree high temperatures on the table all along that I-95 corridor region, really throughout that area of the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast U.S. Again, late this weekend through at least the middle part of next week. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.